So it looks like it all works. I'm just not sure if I'm speaking loud enough as demo was. Can you guys hear me? All fine. So I won't use the microphone. Cool. My speech will be about databases on Kubernetes and the new way to provision that. And before we start, a couple words about me. So my name is Kate. I'm a solution manager for cloud-native products at Percona. I'm 8 years in open source and was working on the project like Cloud Linux, Alma Linux, and kernel care, if you're working with the Linux kernel. And I actually would like to know a couple things about you. Is anyone having development on Kubernetes, like in your organization or your application? Because today we're going to talk about cloud-native databases on Kubernetes, the ways to manage them, and the new open source approach that Percona Everest just released, its benefits, and how to get started, and maybe wrap up with the Q&A. So usually, when we're starting this conversation with database administrators, and I assume most of you database administrators, we start tackling the objections. Why not to use databases on Kubernetes? It's obviously hard to maintain stateful set application on Kubernetes. It is hard to ensure data consistency, and it could be hard to integrate with your existing system. And basically that all says that it brings the complexity to databases on Kubernetes, and database administrators usually antagonists of such solution. But in the same time, the CNCF reports that 71% of all Kubernetes users are actually using databases on Kubernetes. And some of them on test environments, some of them in the production, and we're at Percona, we're seeing a growing amount of databases on production on Kubernetes. So what brings a business there? Who are those people who actually don't mind those complexities? And it has its benefits for the business. It could leverage scalability of Kubernetes for your databases. It's cost effective, and it is easy to access if set up it in the right way, obviously. And when we're talking about databases at scale, databases on Kubernetes at scale, there is just a few ways how you would manage that. You can build either internal solution in-house. You can obtain a public database as a service or a private database as a service. And each use case has its benefits. If you're built a database in-house, you have total control. You're absolutely not too tied to any vendor. In case of public DBaaS, you have a straightforward solution ready for you. Everything is managed for you, no complexities, and almost the same for the private DBaaS. But it also brings some downsides, and it is actually quite hard and time-consuming to build that solution in-house. And in case of either private or public DBaaS, it has limitation, and it ties you to a specific vendor, basically locks you in. And at Percona, we were thinking how to mitigate those downsides for our customers who are using databases on Kubernetes. And we were thinking, what if we will come up with a solution that will combine all the benefits of public DBaaS, but will be hosted on top of your infrastructure, but at the same time eliminating complex in-house development. And that's where we come with the Percona Everest. This is the first open source cloud-native database platform, which contains the best of build, DBaaS, and device solution. If you'll take a look how it works, it basically leverages the 3 operators under the hood: Postgres, MySQL, and Mongo so far, and united under user-friendly interface. It also has a REST API, so it's ready to integrate with existing solution you have, and also could be integrated with CI/CD pipeline for your developers to more efficient development cycle. For now, I'm not sure if I managed that it is a multi-database. And for now, the databases that it manages is MySQL, Mongo, and Postgres. More coming soon, like ClickHouse and Bulky. It also could be deployed in any environment, either in the cloud or on-prem. It's basically cloud agnostic, but you can see here examples that were widely tested. It also has disaster recovery capabilities like scheduled on-demand backups, point-in-time recovery, and physical backups coming soon. And native integration with Percona monitoring and management, so you can track your databases with if any issues and troubleshoot it. And at this point, I'd like to show you a quick demo of how it's actually easy to deploy a database at Everest. For that purpose, I would need to stay like this. So the installation is pretty straightforward. You have just one command to install the Percona Everest. You are choosing the database technology that you want to manage, either MySQL, Mongo, or Postgres. We will choose all at the same time. And installation is pretty fast. By the end of the installation, you'll have the personalized token with which you could access the web interface of Percona Everest. You're copying it and could log in into your interface. And this is basically the dashboard where all your database is going to be represented. To create a database, you have a button on the right corner. You are choosing the technology. We're gonna, let's for the demo purpose, go with MySQL. Specifying the namespace, choosing the technology, specifying the database name, the needed database version, and storage class. Now you can move forward to the resource allocation. We have either preset options, or you can customize capacity per node. And in this case, we will choose the default option to make it faster. We'll go with a small one. And pressing continue. So at this stage, you can enable scheduled backups with this toggle. And it offers to you to specify the backup name, the backup storage, also number of database copies, and the time schedule for your backup. On the next stage, you can enable point-in-time recovery, also specify the backup storage. And at this point, you have customization options. You can enable external access to your database. And you also could set up database engine parameters, any custom if you need so. And last stage is when you're enabling monitoring. You're basically providing the monitoring endpoint, and for that you should using Percona monitoring and management. And that's it, all the data are going to be sent there. And that's basically it. That's how long it takes to create one database, and you in your dashboard will see all the information about it. It has a different role-based access control for different teams, so you can enable your developers with self-provisioning database. And we'll move to kind of summary of the benefits. So if you're using the public cloud, Percona Everest gives you a big advantage where you can have under your account a control plane and a data plane and the application itself, so it's fully customizable. You can implement any policies internal, any software gives you a full control under your account, unlike with public DBaaS or even with the bring your own cloud alternative. It enables your teams with self-service. Either it is developers, QA engineers, or any other teams. You can give them needed access control to increase time to market, avoiding a complicated requesting database process. It also brings standardization across environments. Either you're adopting a multi-cloud strategy or a hybrid setup. It basically means that you will have all databases across those environments created under one standard, which makes the management easier and you can easily scale those databases, and which also makes the data more portable so you can migrate it between environments. It is ready to integrate with your platform, as I mentioned earlier, with the REST API, or for developers to be integrated with CI/CD pipelines. And one of the most common use cases is the platform engineering. And in this case, we are talking about Samaritan Purse. That's one of our users. And they had a challenge. They had a few organizations with the one environment for databases, and they needed a multi-tenancy, basically to have and manage databases in one environment, in one infrastructure, but without access of different teams to separate those. And they also wanted to enable their developers with self-provisioning, but without paying a lot for a public DBaaS, so not to log themselves in. And with Percona Everest, they were able to drive standardization across those environments. They also enable developers with self-provisioning, increase their time to market, and basically enhance developers' productivity and start utilize their resources more efficiently. And this is a couple words about what we're working on right now. This is a multi-cluster feature for Percona Everest, where you basically will be able to manage multiple database clusters environments, let's say from AWS and in Google, Azure, and on-prem OpenShift. So this is very useful for the hybrid setup under one user interface. We are also working on storage auto-scaling, and as mentioned earlier, on database deployment from external backup. So it's good for your data portability, migration, and in general disaster recovery. And as I mentioned, this software is open source fully, so no charges for that. And by default option, you'll have the support of our community at various of Percona resources. And it is also worth to mention that considering that Percona has an expertise in managing quite complex database setups on Kubernetes, we are also here for you if you need in-house DBaaS development, or you are looking for alternative to get rid of public DBaaS, or need preparation for high traffic events, or any type of database migration. So basically, the commercial support also available together with the community one. And if you, go ahead.
For MySQL on Percona Everest, do you support 5.7 or does it have to be on MySQL 8?
Yes, we support. So everything that's supported by our operators is supported by Percona Everest. And if you'd like to learn more and stay tuned of new features, if you'd like to talk to the product, to test it, scan this QR code. This is our Percona Kubernetes squad, where we're discussing on a monthly basis such activities, any troubleshooting on databases on Kubernetes. Our products always presented on such calls. And yeah, just to be able to check what's new with the Kubernetes operators in Percona Everest. That's the way how to reach us. And if you have any more questions, would be glad to answer.
Could you go to the previous slide, please?
Of course. Yeah. I will basically finished on that. Thank you for the interesting questions. And there on the table with our collaterals, you will find the description, each feature description of Percona Everest, basically the data sheet with it. So feel free to help yourself with these collaterals. Thank you, guys.